coming from above, what's coming from below, look in his rear mirror, what's behind. It's flummoxed, confused utterly. But it's only by doing all that you can get experience if you live long enough. But some of the poor devils didn't. And it was sad, really sad.
At 1:45 on the afternoon of September the 15th, British radar picked up the second German attack. 475 enemy aircraft heading for the London docks. At 2 p.m, 2 waves of German bombers crossed the coast at Dungeness. Between 5 past and 2:30, Keith Park scrambled 276 Spitfires and Hurricanes to defend the capital. This time they were facing a German force twice the size of the morning one.
There's a famous incident reported by Churchill in some detail when he visited Park on September the 15th. It wasn't the first time he'd done so. And he watched all the orders going out, he saw all the squadrons taking off, and then he uttered to Park the words that he'd uttered to General Gamelin in France, "Where is the reserve?" And when he'd uttered those words to Gamelin, he'd been told that there was no reserve, and he realised that France was done for. Well, now he asked Park, "Where is the reserve?" And got the reply, "There is none, sir." Churchill looked very grave, as he reports at that point.
Commander of 11 Group, Keith Park, had committed every plane at his disposal. In the skies above his underground bunker, nearly 1,000 planes, British and German, were locked in combat. But the RAF, steeled by weeks of fighting, were starting to inflict losses of their own.
Well, the 15th of September was rather a special day. Everything went my way, and I was finally credited with 1 Dornier destroyed, 2 109s destroyed, and 1 Dornier shed. So that was 3.5 aircraft. I found myself behind a Dornier 215, I think it was, and I was firing at it, and suddenly the crew bailed out. And I was so close behind it that 2 of the bodies came out and nearly hit me. He came so close that I ducked. I remember ducking in the airplane, thinking, my God, he's going to hit me.
They never saw me, and I was right behind them, and they were both sitting ducks. I mean, and I just went up behind them and shot the first one down, the leader, and the other one, for some unknown reason, never took any evasive action at all. He must have been a very young, inexperienced, and so I shot him down. You couldn't feel sympathy for them. I mean, you didn't try and kill them. You just tried to disable the aeroplane, was the main thing. With the twin-engine thing, you always aimed at the engines first.
Not every RAF pilot got to fly that day. There were many out of action, injured or wounded. One such was Nigel Rose.
15th September 1940. Dear Mum and Dad, for the past 4 days I've been leading a life of leisure and boredom since I foolishly let my Spit be riddled by an ME-110 on Thursday, and I got a slight wound on the left elbow into the bargain. It's rather like a small gunshot abrasion and doesn't hurt a bit. But I carry the limb about in a sling so that it'll get a chance to heal quickly, and the wounded soldier effect is terrific. I hope all goes well with you and that you haven't had too much of this bombing business. Love as always, Nigel.
His wound cost him a few days of pain and discomfort, but he was lucky. All around him were men in much worse state than him, none more so than those burned inside their flaming cockpits.
It was their face and their hands that got burned, and that was this extraordinary pattern of injury which was reproduced time and time again through that summer, which became known as the airman's burn.
Only days earlier, Spitfire pilot Richard Hillary had been shot down in flames. He would later describe the experience in his celebrated book, The Last Enemy, from which he recorded extracts later in the war.
I felt a terrific explosion which knocked the control stick from my hand, and the whole machine quivered like a stricken animal. In a second, the cockpit was a mass of flame. I reached up to open the hood. It wouldn't move. I tore off my straps and managed to force it back. But this took time, and when I dropped back into the seat and reached for the stick in an effort to turn the plane onto its back, The heat was so intense that I could feel myself going. I remember thinking, so this is it, and putting both my hands up to my eyes. Then I passed out.
I was flying with him at the time when he got shot down, and he landed in the Thames, and we never saw him again, because he went to Ravensbourne Hospital, and he was there for 8 months, getting his eyelids grafted back. He was very, very badly burned. And he was a very good-looking boy.
Hillary's salvation, as with so many other injured pilots, would be the legendary plastic surgeon Archibald McIndoe. He helped pioneer new techniques for dealing with the kinds of appalling injuries pilots could suffer, becoming a hero to his patients in the process. His hospital in East Grinstead became home to scores of burned pilots. The men under his care christened themselves the guinea pigs.
The 47-year-old plastic surgeon, back to his patients, made the club possible. Demanding an entrance fee no one would like to pay. The guinea pigs today number more than 600.
If the nose has been burnt off, they used to cut a lump of skin out of your forehead, flap it down, leaving it attached, and stitch it around the nose. And that is called a pedicle. And they used to have to stay like that until it had taken root on the nose. And then they could cut off the top bit and carry on.
We drove to East Grinstead, and I certainly was not prepared for what I was about to see, which was raw flesh, raw face, no eyelids, no lips, fingers burnt away. It was just raw flesh. I thought, oh my God, what have I let myself in for? However, we crammed as many as we could in the car. Well, I did. And we went to a local pub. It was a revelation. Everybody in the pub clapped them on the back, said, come on, old boy, have a drink. If they couldn't drink, they gave them straws to drink through. They treated them exactly as if they were normal people, which they weren't.
This big blonde barmaid used to come round the bar, put an arm around everyone in turn and give them a kiss. That woman deserved a medal if anyone did.
I went home to my mother, burst into tears. I said, I can't do that again. She said, you bloody will. We wouldn't still be here if it wasn't for those boys. And she was right. From that moment on, I was fine.
Rudder and into a spin, pull out.
There are only a few of McIndoe's guinea pigs left today. One of them is Bill Foxley.
The Guinea Pig Club have an anthem which we sing at our reunion each year, and the first verse goes like this. We are McIndoe's army, we are his guinea pigs, with dermatones and pedicles, glass eyes, false teeth and wigs. And when we get our discharge, we'll shout with all our might, per ardua ad astra, we would rather drink than fight.
Despite some successes in the morning, September the 15th wasn't going all the RAF's way. Around 3 o'clock, there was a second attempt at a big wing attack, this time with far less decisive results. As critics of the tactic had warned, British planes got in each other's way. The Germans, led by their top-scoring ace, Adolf Galland, made short work of 4 RAF fighters shot down in minutes. The final one was Galland's 33rd victory. But among the chaos of the day's fighting, there were 2 extraordinary episodes that stuck out. Both were to symbolize the kind of determination that helped make the RAF the force it had become. Hurricane pilot Ray Holmes chased a lone German bomber right over the centre of London. He had run out of ammunition, but refused to break off. What happened next made Battle of Britain history.
I knew now that the only way of getting this chap down was to take his tailplane off. His tailplane was looking so fragile there, and to me it looked like a model aeroplane, as if you could just chop it. And I thought my wing at that speed